Hello and welcome to the show. We are here today on Forza Horizon 5 for some more multiplayer racing. For this, we are using some C-Class cars. And the rules for this is they have to be from 1990 or newer, and all of the races were going to be on tarmac. Now, that is important in terms of tyre choice for these races. I've gone for something unlike me. I've gone for a 240 SX. Never really driven or built this car before. I have got street tyres on it, I think. I've gone for a little bit of upgraded tyres, a bit of tyre width. I don't really know about this, because this is one of the vehicles that I'm really unsure about. I think there's a fair few power cars around the place, and I'm very much not that. I mean, I'm not going to get slicks on the car, for an example, in C-Class. But I only got about 180 horsepower, so this is more of a handling build, and there's all sorts of curiosities around. We've got a few early 90s cars, Mustang, Celica, Silvia, a couple of 240 SXs, an M3 in here. There's a few more modern cars. Actually, there's only a couple, really. You've got the MX-5, and you've got a Raptor. Raptor's a really out there choice. Could work really well. Could be terrible, but could be strong. It's one of those. I feel like that's even more hit and miss than me. Now, we are not great off the line. We've got quite a long first gear. The rest of the gearbox seems okay, but first gear isn't great. It gives me like my Quattro from last time out. However, my hope is that the rest of the gears will be fine. And I'm hoping we're going to have enough grip here. It's difficult to know, though. I know we're going to struggle in terms of straight line speed. I've not got aero on the car, so we don't have the drag from that. We are quick through there. Quicker than the Silvia, that's for sure. Okay, we're going to try and duck underneath it. It's very close to the checkpoint. However, we have to do it. Like that was a essential pass if we are going to stand a chance of catching the Mustang and the Celica up here. Now, the Celica's advantage is has got all-wheel drive, so it will have pretty good traction coming off of these corners. Now, that can be helpful. This is not a track that's really all that traction heavy, shall we say, so I'm not fussed about all-wheel drive really being all that useful. I think I might just be a little bit too down on power and not have enough. I don't think I have enough grip to make up for my lack of power, sadly, which is the way it goes sometimes with these builds, and it is the fear I have with this car. We can run it into turn 1. I mean, this is quite a handling circuit. It's not the most extreme handling circuit, but it's up there. There's only a couple, well, I think there's only really one. There's that really tight one in the centre of the city that's kind of more handling based than here. Here you do need a little bit of straight line speed in places. We've definitely got the corner speed going on now. The tyres are warmed up. We're giving the Celica a little bit of a scare, and we will hopefully get to the inside. We will pass it nicely there. Now my concern is, of course, we're heading straight downhill, and the Celica's top end might be too much for me to deal with. I'm going to send it wide down here, but it's past before we even get to the corner. Although it can't live with the grip. Celica's out wide and does bump the wall, so we go through this final turn. I had a little bit of a lift through there to try and make sure I don't brush the wall. If we're going to catch the Mustang, we can't afford any clonks on the wall anywhere, really. Not through turn 1. I mean, that was the lightest of kisses on the wall. That's fine. We get away with that. That doesn't really cost me any speed. But we're going to have to be quick through this next corner. The MX-5 is starting to catch that Celica, which is not really of a big surprise to me. Yeah, we're quick there. And in theory, we should be fast there. Do I want third gear? I think third works. I think we're going to be a smidge faster than the Mustang in terms of lap time, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to get past it easily, and I won't if I do that. That was foolish by me. And we just lose out. I mean, that's kind of a double blow for me. We already struggle for straight line speed down this hill, but it's a worse blow because I lost momentum brushing that wall. Mustang is a little sideways and a little leery through the penultimate corner. Can we get flat through here? Yes, we can. I think maybe the first lap, a little bit cold tyres. Didn't quite have the grip that I was hoping for, as we will now run into the first corner. Mustang brushed the wall. We then did exactly the same. The Mustang's pushing hard here. But it knows it's got to. The Mustang's got to make the most of... It's got to carry as much quarter speed as it can, because we are always going to be faster than it through the corners. But if the Mustang can carry a mile an hour or two more, it gets closer to me. And it means it's not quite as physically close to me when we get to these other sections. I don't think I'm going to have time to find a way past it. I mean, I'm doing everything I can in the Nissan, and I'm liking this Nissan actually. But it's kind of how I want my car. It's consistent. It's stuck to the road. But I think I'm just going to run out of laps to try and look for a way past, unless the Mustang makes a big mistake. I mean, the Mustang's having a bit of a wobble all the way through there. Can I do anything? I mean, we're quicker again through that final section, but the Mustang's just going to be out of range. Annoyingly, we probably need about 3 or so more laps to find a way past the Mustang. Oh, we're going to run in there with so much speed. We're right on to the bumper now. Where could I find a way past? I mean, if it makes a mistake anywhere, we're there. However, there's not... Well, I mean, there are opportunities to make a mistake. There's certainly not close enough to have a pass here that would be the best overtaking spot for the Nissan. We're right up against the wall. We'll be quick at the end of this straight as well, but the Mustang will then be fast down the hill. Do I want second gear out of here? We do. Oh, it's agonizingly close. It's so close, but I'm not going to be able to do anything because Mustang will pull away all the way down the hill. We'll catch it a little bit in the final corner, but unless it misses a checkpoint, it's not going to be caught enough. It has a bit of a bobble on the way through there. Is again out a little bit wide. We will absolutely throw the Nissan through here, but it is not enough. We needed more time. Good race. Good hunt. Just ran out of laps. Nissan will claim a second, and it was definitely the fastest car there. With the technical stuff, it has got that it has got the measure of that Mustang. Yeah, we're down to 103.7. I mean, the Mustang's close, I should point out. They're not very big differences in lap times. Oh, the MX-5 was also going pretty rapid. Celica slipped to 4th by the end of it. Ahead of the Golf, M3, RX-7 and Silvia. The other 240 SX is not faring quite so well, and the Raptor did not quite work around that track. Oh, it's a good first race, though. We head to the Emerald Circuit for our next race. Ooh, I'm a long way back. This, a much more power-hungry circuit, shall we say. Not expecting to be great here. A plus point I might have is we might be a bit low drag. If anyone's got Forza Aero on their car, I don't think there are many who are going to be running that in C-Class. But I guess that's one plus point we do have for us. No Forza Aero means that we might not get to our top speed very quickly, but the car might be vaguely slippery in a straight line. Although I don't think it's going to be that much more than anything else, really. There's likely to be a fair few power cars here that are going to be much faster than me down the straight. Now, a plus point we do have, of course, is that I will be a lot more controllable, and there are going to be 2 places where we are very fast, in front of the hotel and the final corner. A little bit around here as well. That's going to be fairly easy for us. It's barely a corner. However, yeah, I mean, this is the sacrifice I made when I built this car. Like, I am aware of what the problems are going to be for this vehicle. I'm aware it's not going to be great at this kind of track, but the first circuit, it was the fastest car there. And I do tend to prefer to have my handling cars. I just tend to be more competitive with them than anything else. The RX-7 was never going to be able to make that corner. I will follow a Raptor so that if anything clears the stones out of the way, it'll be that one. And we are going to sneak our nose up the inside of the Beamer. It's a little cheeky. It was a little cheeky in all of that. Now we've got to try and hope that the Raptor is not as fearsome. Which is, I mean, it's good news for me. The Raptor not being as fearsome a vehicle. They can be fast. I'm not sure this rule set, if you like, is really where a Raptor is going to shine. Okay, Silvia is going to be hung out wide. The MX-5 is going to be as quick as me through there, I would expect, and indeed it is. Now, what can I do about finding a way past? The Mazda is a lot more similar to me than anything else here, probably. Well, I guess the Mustang a little bit as well. The Mustang had a better spot on the grid and has got clear and is enjoying a lonely run up at the front. We are going to have a big dive. We make it stop. It's a clean pass for us. The Golf found some scenery and is slow on the exit. Yeah, either the MX-5 was kind of happy. Sometimes it can actually be advantageous. Let a fast car go and then follow it through the field. Possibly the MX-5 just didn't expect a big dive bomb to come there because it thought it was going to be better on the brakes than anybody else, and it probably is than most cars. But it cannot quite match the Nissan. We've got a good run on the exit here. The Mini is likely to be quicker than me though down the straight, so we will probably just fall back into line. Yeah, even with Forza Horizon, that thing's got some power in it. But it does look like it's more of a handful in the corners. Got a lot more understeer than we do, that's for sure. Going to presume it's on its standard tyres. We have a good run here. Now, if we can go side by side all the way down, which we do, we will be on the inside for this next corner. If the Mini's struggling with understeer, in fact, the MX-5 is going to profit. And that's what you can do if you get it right. As you see with the MX-5, it profit. I opened the door, the MX-5 just followed me through there. So we will slow down through here. Can I catch... Oh, the Celica. Not if I drive like that, we can't. The MX-5 is going to get a run on us. It is going to be on the wrong side, though. It's going to have to look around the outside for the run down towards the final corner. We will give it plenty of space. Of course, we will be fair. And into the final turn we go. We will hug that inside line. The MX-5 might try and cut underneath us for the exit. That's what I would want to be doing, and indeed it does. And it has got a better run. We move across, but it's not going to be enough. The Mazda will get past as we head on to the final lap of the race. Well, we're going to have to do something. We're going to have to do something. Outside here is not the line I want to be on. Celica bumps the wall. I think the Mazda might have got us here, unless we can, because we're going to be too far back to have a big hero lunge at the hotel again. We did it once, but we were a lot closer. And the MX-5 will be aware of it, although it has had a big slide through there. That is not what it needed at all there. I'm out a little bit wide, but we are too far back to go for a dive. And I got my braking wrong. The Mazda's got us. Got my braking a little bit scruffy there. The MX-5 has done it. It might even go challenge the Celica for second. The Celica's not had a great final lap, but it's not had a good final lap at all with a clonk on the wall. We've had a bad final lap as well. We run into the final corner. I'm not too fussed about the cars behind. Oh, Celica, the MX-5 tried to duck underneath, mistimed it and bumped the back of the Celica. Really scruffy final lap by me. I'm disappointed in myself really there. Should have been better. Could have been battling up with second. Car had the pace. I just had a bad final lap. No one had an answer for the Mustang. MX-5 a little quicker than us. The Golf pretty fast actually once that got going. As was the Prelude too. All of the sort of the high 1 minutes. Another very, very good race. We head to one of the most technical circuits on the game. This could be a strong place for Minister, although we are buried in traffic. Not really what I want here. We know we're likely to be quick. We might struggle with the power up the hill. That's always a concern. 186 horsepower is all I've got to play with, which is not very much. Whoops, and I left my aircon on in the background. Sorry about that. I meant to turn that off for the race. Yeah. If we can get through the traffic, we stand a good chance here. But we could get marred in traffic. We know the Golf's pretty quick. We know the Raptor. I mean, the Raptor's big and much better off the line than I am. The Nissan has not gone. I don't know, control issue perhaps for that one. We have actually had a couple of funny, weird breaks. We've had games automatically giving wheel spins while players have been on the grid. We've had that before. That's happened in filming, I believe. So, yeah, not impossible that we could have that happen in one of these. I'm going to try and be really cheesy here. I want to get past the Raptor as soon as possible, and I made the most of the Ghost mode there. Now, it's going to get busy on this bit, and I mean, we did make the most of getting past the Raptor. We then got a little bit stuck. Sadly, couldn't quite use that to our advantage. Or as much to our advantage. We have now got clear. So yeah, we are up to 6th. We're going to try and get underneath the Mazda. We know the Mazda's got more straight line speed than us, but it'll count for nothing around this track, really. I mean, it's good up the hill, but that's about it. The Golf is out wide and in the wall. There's a very Nissan-sized gap on the outside, and we found it. We made the pass. Oh, that was close. That was so close. We have done a great job of getting through the traffic. I'm really pleased with how well we've got through the traffic. It's just not going to... The Mustang's had such a lead already, and not being slowed at all, that is always going to be near impossible for us to catch. Because we know we're quicker than it, but not by that much. Now, the Celica does have a little all-wheel drive advantage in a couple of places, but it will be quite heavy in C-Class. You don't have many room for upgrades in that car. We should be able to cut underneath it here, and that could put us up to second, although it's likely to outrun us down here. So we're just going to make life awkward for it, basically. I'm going to put it on a tight line through here. We know it's likely to understeer. Actually, no, they did a good job. They did a good job with that one. They kept it neat, they kept it tidy up there, and it will hold on to second for a little while longer. Still understeering on the exit yet. This might be a little pain to get past. We're clearly quicker than it. We've just got to pick and choose our moment, because you can see it just vanishes down here, but then we will reel it in all the way through kind of turn 1, turn 2. Now, if I get this right, we might be able to chuck it up the inside at turn 3. We cannot, although we can kind of pry the door open a little bit all the way through there. Just the grip I have in this is immense as we move up into second. And lock the brakes a little bit. Little unhappy down there. Carry momentum on the exit. Let the Celica understeer wide. And, I mean, I think this is as good as we can get. The Mustang, we know we're not that much faster than the Mustang, and when it has such a big lead from the get-go, there's only so much I can realistically do. And we're going to have to battle with the Celica now, because, while we are quicker over a lap, this time around I'm going to be in danger by turn 1. So we're going to try and make it awkward, send it around the outside, but it's just going to outrun me down the straight. That's fine, because we can probably carry enough speed to do this pass again. It is a sketchy pass. It relies on the Celica giving us space, and they did a fantastic job there. They knew they knew we'd got the grip. They knew where my car was going to go. It didn't understeer wide and put us in a wall, and we could make. I mean, there's a spectacular pass when it comes off. It is a risk. It's kind of a calculated risk. I trust the driver of the Celica enough there that they're not going to run wide. I mean, like, not say like intentionally put someone in a wall, but it's easy to just understeer wide on your own accord at that section and put a car in a wall. We've had them. This has been a great race. We had a great battle with the Celica. Unfortunately, while we have got pace on that Mustang, we've only got a lap to really utilise clean air and see what this 240SX can do. By the looks of it, the Golf's had a good run up through the field. That's up in 4th. That might be able to catch the Celica by the end of this lap. We'll have to wait and see. Although the Celica is very strong at the end of the lap, makes it difficult to pass, as well as we found out. We had to battle with it for a couple of laps before we could get clear of it. Once we are clear of it, we vanish. But yeah, it took us a little while. I mean, we're catching the Mustang. Oh, although I locked the brakes that time. This isn't going to be a faster lap. That braking zone is always so tough. I've got in trouble there in the past. And that time around again, we just locked the brake. I think this is your going over the bumps and rises and falls, and it's really easy just to snag a brake. But because it's such a small braking zone, if you do snag a brake, you're just going straight into the wall. And there we go. Oh, I like this car. I do like this car. It's great for this sort of stuff. We're going to cross the line in second, but I'm really pleased with that drive. Great battling through the pack. Oh, it looks like the Celica might have just held on from the Prelude. Prelude did a good job, because that came with me from the back all the way towards the front. We do get fastest lap of the race, so that's close. Oh, the Prelude did get a third in the end. Nicely done. Yeah, Prelude, me, Mustang, all very, very similar in terms of lap time, as was the Mini. Mini had a great lap time in there for a car that has very little PI to work with. Would have been great if we could have all been close together. Sadly, the field spread was a little bit too much, but great fun race. We are off to the Lookout Circuit for our penultimate race. Again, we're buried in the pack. Not a track that I expect. God damn, the Mustang has had some of the most incredible grid luck I've ever seen. I mean, yeah, this track not going to be the strongest suit for the Nissan. It'll be alright in the final sector, but the first sector is just not going to have the speed. We might be able to drag ourselves towards a podium position, I should think. I mean, we might not be having the grid luck, but we are having entertaining races, there's no doubt about that. I'm a little bit concerned about the Prelude and the Golf, actually. They could be quite serious threats here. We're not great off the line. We know the Prelude is worse, being front-wheel drive and down on power. That is a horrible, the old modem sound is a horrible thing. Yeah, we are last by turn 1. That's how bad, that's how bad we are in a straight line. Now, once we get going, we can, like, our momentum isn't too bad. It's just getting up to speed is really, really sluggish. So sluggish, and here we go to the outside of about 4 wide. If we can hold it here, we will be on the inside for the next corner. The Golf is wise and covers that off. No, maybe not. Left a gap. I thought they were going up the inside of the Beamer. They chose not to. We did just get the checkpoint, but it was only just. Oh, it's getting a bit busy through here. And we are out the other side in one piece. We will be to the inside of the RX-7. Use our car's grip. And we will get spat out of that in 5th. Unfortunately, now we've got to go chase down the fast cars. And, well, you can see the size of the gap I've already got to overcome. So even if I am equal in lap pace to them, you can see this, the gap the first lap battling. Golf's going to have a look around the outside. It might be doable. I think the front wheel drive might just understeer a bit too much because we have got some of the most grip in this field. So I think it would be unlikely for you to get around there. However, if it gets a good run, it could threaten us with a straight line speed pass down towards this next corner. Although it just depends. I don't know what that thing's like top end. Pretty good by the looks of it. So yeah, I can't do too much. Oh god, careful. I was about to beans that corner up. Yeah, as long as I'm staying neat and tidy, I think I can be clear of the Golf, potentially. I'd like to think, I think we have got pace on the cars ahead to a degree. I'd like to think we can catch them, but it's such a gap we've got to overcome. And I think the pace is pretty similar, really. The Celica's enjoying the longer straights around here, maybe not a big surprise. The Mini probably liking the straights as well. That's got a good chunk of power. While not many upgrades are going to be on that Mini, it is going to have some good straight line speed. They are good cars as well. I like them in this game for making race vehicles. I'm not a fan of the modern Minis. However, Cooper Works ones can be blooming fast on Forza. And of course, the Cooper Works GP Mini is one of my favourite sort of hot hatches, I guess. Wonderful driving car on these games. Apparently in real life, I'd love to have a go with one, but never have. We're stuck in no man's land. That's where we are, and I think that's where we might. Sometimes you get these races. I mean, it's because the cars are evenly matched, but the grid. My car's so bad off the line, and it wasn't a nice grid spot for us. We just can't. I've not had great luck at building fast launching cars of late. So gearbox works. The problem is, gearbox works here, and this is what I think one of the symptoms of these low power cars. Gearbox works around the rest of the lap. It's not great off the line, and I've got to deal with the fact I've got 186 horsepower. It's probably one of the least powerful cars here, and that's the MX-5 might be less power, but it will be lighter. This thing's not heavy by any stretch of the imagination, but its power to weight ratio on the MX-5s are always going to be pretty good. Oh, that's an understeer. I turned in too soon through there. Yeah, we're just sat. It's so annoying when you're sat watching a fun battle that I'd love to be a part of. I say that, but everyone actually up ahead they're closer than I am, but they've all got their own little. There's got a little gap. There's got a little bit of field spread. I'm just not doing anything about catching them. They're not really doing very much about getting away from the Nissan. That was a good run through there. I can carry good speed. The rest of this lap hasn't been great though. Yeah, I mean, we could probably race for about 30 laps around here, and the gaps would barely change without mistakes. We've caught maybe a tiny bit. I'll be curious to see lap times. I think it's going to be mega close between the top 5. The Golf's not even that far behind me. 102.3 the fastest. There might be a 101 in that car if I put all the sectors together, I think. I wouldn't be surprised if it could do that. What are the lap times? Yeah, basically what I expected. Jeez, there are 3 cars on a 102.5. The Mini's on a 102.6. The Mustang's 102.1 and I'm a 102.3. That's so close. That is 6 cars within about 3-4 tenths of a second of each other in terms of lap time, and just no one's able to do anything. If only we could have started further up. Bloody poor starting car and even worse grid spots. We are off to the Chihuahua Circuit for our final race. We are a fair way back. Not as bad as we have been. The Mustang continues to be on the front row. Going to likely be a strong track for the 240SX. I mean, it's proved to be pretty good all round. The rain is going to throw a curveball. I don't know. In theory, it might be better for me. I mean, that is a big in theory. I mean, we are down on power, so we should have less traction issues than some of the other cars. The Prelude might be really strong in the rain. That front-wheel drive Prelude. Ah, the Celica. I forgot about the Celica in the field, the one all-wheel drive car. Yeah, although this is a very twisty circuit, which won't be to the Celica's liking. It's big and heavy. That would have loved rain at the previous track. Around here, probably not going to be a great advantage. And outside of the hairpin, there's not really any big acceleration zones where you need the traction. You definitely will like the traction coming out of the... oh god, I don't know who's in ghost mode and who isn't at the moment. The Prelude, yeah, Prelude's got spat out. I think there might have been some weird ghost mode collision lag going on there, and I apologise if there was. Very difficult to know in all of that. We're going to be out wide of the hairpin. Celica couldn't quite... Celica got a little bit boxed in, I think, through all of that. Now, we are going to be quick here, in theory. I'm hoping we need to make up some lap time through this section, because if not, we're going to be in trouble from the Mini and that Toyota. Problem is I've got a Nissan in front that is not as quick in the corners as I am. We might be able to round it up here if we get this right. We get the braking right into turn 1. That would be very, very helpful indeed for us. We can get the car turned in, carry the speed through there. Oh, balloon's out, and you did not make any contact. It was close. No contact was made. They are going to lift out of that because they're going to be on the dirt and on a funky line. We have moved ourselves up to third, which is very helpful. We will carry... Oh, God, we've got so much speed through there that the Golf can't carry. We've got so much speed in this car, but once again we've got to clear the traffic, and I think we're just going to run out of time. Can we actually make this stick at the hairpin? That is a long, long, long way round, but I think we can do it. We get a good enough run here. We are to the inside through these next couple of corners. Now, the Golf might want to try and stick it out there, but that's not going to hold. We are up to second now in our Nissan. Might be slow starting, but once it gets going, it really does fly here. We are clear. The Prelude is going to probably be on a little bit of a march. The Celica struggling. The traction's great, but the handling's just not good enough. And that's going to be a letdown around this circuit. We will try and carry as much speed as I can, but even if we're half a second a lap faster, it would be irrelevant because we wouldn't be able to catch. And I don't think we're going to be half a second a lap faster. Here we might be a couple of tenths. I mean, we are going to be probably quicker through here, I would expect, from the Nissan, and we might be quicker at the hairpin and all of those, but that's just it's never going to be enough to really make the ground up, unfortunately. We will try and at least be neat and tidy. We can go for fastest lap with the grid position comparisons. There's always going to be a nigh on impossible task with evenly matched cars. Yeah, Prelude is as expected, working its way up through the pack quite nicely. We've got one more lap to go, and the rain is calming down. That's as much speed as I dare through there. Any faster, and I'm going to clonk the wall or end up on the dirt, which I don't really want to. The tyres aren't bad in this, but they're not going to be designed for dealing with sort of wet dirt, shall we say. So if we can avoid it, that would be ideal. Yeah, Prelude's all the way up to third. It's having a good run here, making the most of its handling, and probably making the most of some of that front-wheel drive stability. I wonder whether the Mustang might get a little undone with traction issues, but certainly not enough. I do think we might be a tiny smidge faster, although it's going to be very close between us. I don't really think... Mustang's not really vanishing, we're not really catching. Gap's barely changed since I got to second. Might be catching a tiny little bit, because Mustang's got the sort of power for these acceleration zones. I've just got the mid-corner speed. So it kind of, I think it's going to even itself out overall as we head around. Final couple of corners, yeah, very much a drive around in no man's land for me after the first couple of laps. Entertaining couple of laps working our way up to here. There's a big scrap going on for third, which it looks like is going to go the way of the Prelude, potentially, as we head up towards the line. Curious to see fastest lap. God knows what the finishing order is going to be behind. Looks like Prelude gets 240, gets Golf, and the Celica somewhere in all of that mess. We do not get fastest lap. That does go the way of the Mustang. It is close again between between us. I mean, it's actually quite close between a bunch of cars in there. Celica, Mini, MX-5, Prelude, all fairly fast. Golf not quite so much around here. Yeah, I really like that Nissan. Really like that. It's a bit poor starting, which is a problem, shall we say, for it. But yeah, it has been rapid in places. Just we had a lot of traffic to deal with in a lot of these races. It's made it a massively entertaining time for me, but always going to be very difficult to get victories when you're stuck in that much traffic and a Mustang starts on pole pretty much and can run away. So yeah, I do really like this car though. It's a good C-Class car for some tarmac racing. But there we go. That is going to be it for this video. If you would like to take part in the next one of these, you can sign up via our Discord. There'll be a link in the description. Find the versus the community sign-up section, and you can register to take part in there. That, though, is going to be it from me. Thank you all very much for watching, and until next time, a goodbye.